do they do? How are RPG earning victories every now and again? It's for playing the maps and using global mobility and ignoring objectives. It's very difficult to ignore the objective here, and it's very difficult to avoid team fights because that beacon is so important. Those beacons are so important. So SPT taking them to a map that they don't have to fight as much as Battlefield, for example.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a standard laning setup. There's no third lane that you can push while distracting the other two.
MVP analysis here by Tetra, because I couldn't agree more. Everything he just said fits RPG's playstyle so well. The distraction on the side lanes, the avoiding of going for the map objective, and as Tetra really explained very well, this cannot be done too well on Brax's holdout, because if you ignore the beacons, if you ignore the Zergs, they're gonna shred down your base mercilessly. So SPT definitely going into this series with a plan.
Very clever SPT, but RPG, they look laser guided for a victory here, as Valor is banned out by RPG and Ariel by SPT. Them target bans, yo.
Okay, Quinn Zhao,
so
of course.
Genji.
Yep.
Genji, please.
Yeah.
What else? Like, yeah, he doesn't give good Zerg clear, but do you really want to give that over to SPT RPG? Come on now, pick it up. Just, there's not even a question here.
Make Infinity stay here. Come on, give him the Gengu. That needs to be done. If it doesn't happen, SPT is going to be like, well, Mel DC is probably going to have a good time on that hero. He's going to tear you to shreds. So I really don't want that to happen for RPG. Not after them performing so miserably yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank God. Oh my God. If they hadn't done that, I would have been monumentally tilted. Like, yeah, it might not work with whatever you planned before the game, but if you give that over to SPT, then you have drafted wrong, just straight up wrong. That
and especially on this battleground too, right? It's the strongest, one of the strongest battlegrounds for Genji.
Yes, he can rotate with 2 abilities. That's how crazy he is.
You can do that, and you can also go for the boss. Like if you are ever in a situation where you just killed 1 or 2 enemy members and Genji is still alive, you can immediately go for the boss because his deflect deals tons of damage to the Archangel in the middle of the map. So
the attack speed
it's crazy. Yeah.
Because for those who don't know, Genji's deflect procs on every time he takes damage. It only does a set amount of damage unless you take the upgrade for it, but it's still pretty good.
It's very solid. The Archangel boss in the middle of the map here in Brax is one of the fastest attacking objectives in the game, so that's definitely something to be on the lookout for if you're SPT. They go for yours truly Uther and Muradin for Misaka. Okie dokie. Alliance Bros have been deployed.
So here's a bit of information and a recommendation of a show. I want you to bear in mind that in terms of lore, Genji uses his deflect by hitting every single bullet back with his sword. That's the kind of speed he can move at. The fastest attacking hit, he can deflect all the damage from a bastion.
Now bear in mind,
that's how fast he can move. Yeah, that's how fast he can move. Now remember that he can do it from 6 bastions. Yeah. That's how fast he can technically move. And the show I will recommend is The Science of, I think it is called. It is by a guy called Austin. He is currently on the Game Theory channel, and I would thoroughly recommend it. He used to be on a thing called Shoddycast. A show called Shoddycast as well. Would definitely recommend The Science of video games. He does a lot of the Overwatch heroes, including Lucio's gun, which is terrifying in terms of the actual science.
Nice.
It is a great show. Thoroughly recommend.
There we go. Now you all know what to do after HGC China has concluded for today. Actually, a couple of hours later, because I'm probably going to be streaming hashtag selfless self-advertisement.
Yes, watch it after Kendrick's stream, but I would recommend the show, that he pointed out that D.Va has over 6,000 APM to be able to individually intercept all the bullets. Wow. That's the level, that's the kind of thing that he calculates. He is brilliant.
Here we go. Now, Anubrek and Greymane have been chosen for RPG, and this draft already looks mighty scary. I mean, RPG has top-tier heroes on the tank and assassin role. In fact, Greymane plus Genji is going to be so much burst damage that even Uther is going to struggle if his reflexes and his cooldowns are not on point.
Indeed. So, are we seeing from the bans? So, Rhaegar should be the ban. Just remove one of the last of those top heroes. No, Karazim. Nice. Okay, interesting. Huh. I can't remember. We have seen Sar on Karazim. His top support Uther, which is why Super Perfect Team have picked that up first as a bit of a target ban in general, which is nice. So the question is, how well can Saar play stuff? We know he has a very mediocre Brightwing, so we will see.
Yeah, this can definitely tell us that SPT is going to pick their support next, because they're going to be the ones picking first after this ban round. So they're probably going to take away the Rhaegar, and that might put Saar, as you said, who doesn't have the highest hero pool, in a little bit of a pinch here, because true, maybe he would have picked Kharazim, but what is really left after the Rhaegar has been picked by SPT, right? You could go Mouth, not too shabby. Not sure if Saar plays it, though. You could go Brightwing. I'm pretty sure Saar doesn't play it a lot, because Alufal traditionally has been the only support constantly relying on the Fairy
Saar
Dragon.
played it last season, and it was very mediocre, is the point I was getting at. So he could go for it. Like, the Rhaegar's available. He's played Rhaegar a fair amount.
I don't think he's going to get it, though, right? They might still take it away. Like, SPT could still go double support.
In theory, yeah. Hang on. I am just loading him up now to have a look and look at the statistics we have on him.
In the meantime, I can ask a question here coming in from chat. And Theok wanted to know why Oriel was banned instead of maybe Tassadar. So the thing about Oriel right now, and we saw that in the last two games between CE and SOA as well, Oriel just enables so many other heroes really, really well. And especially on Brax's holdout, where there's a long laning phase, Oriel never runs out of mana. So if you have a strong hope generator, a strong hope battery, it is almost impossible to lose the lane. And that's why she's, without any doubts, the strongest support in the game on this battleground.
So Saar only has 4 supports with a 50% or above win ratio. Ariel, who is banned, Kharazim, who is banned, Uther, who is taken, and Malfurion.
Interesting.
His Rhaegar is only on a 33% win rate. His Brightwing, like I did say, is on a 0% win ratio. Taking away his last above 50% win rate support. They've given him the Rhaegar, which is still a good support, but it's not one of Saar's best. It's SPT playing with statistics here, playing with numbers.
And this shows exactly how well prepared a team like SPT is. A team that is without a doubt going to make it to the Eastern Clash, and probably they're going to make it to BlizzCon as well. So not only do you need the mechanical skills, the team fighting, the synergy in-game, but you also need to do your homeworks outside of the battlefield, just like Tetra just showed us. Banning out a certain player, the weakest link sometimes on the enemy team, is the way to victory.
I would potentially argue Saar is potentially the weakest link. He's been playing almost consistently only Uther this season, and almost consistently only Malfurion last season. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like right now, his supports he's actually played that are left, and that are left in general, Rhaegar and Brightwing. Rhaegar, 33% win rate over 9 games. Brightwing, 0% win rate over 7 games, and that's what he's going with. Here comes the Saar Brightwing. Can he turn his win rate around and make it 1-7?
I mean, so here's the thing, right? It kind of blows my mind that Brightwing gets picked with the likes of Greymid and Genji, because she has, hands down, one of the weakest burst healing in the game. And
TP Shield's reasonable, but it did get nerfed severely a while ago.
However, the Brightwing makes a lot more sense if you take a look at the enemy team comp, right? So far, their only source of damage is a Gul'dan, and that's not burst damage. That is sustained damage, and Brightwing's passive healing, combine that with the Emerald Wind increased healing, or maybe even the Blink heal, is going to be more than enough to keep Gul'dan in check. The question is, what is SPT going to pick finally here?
Someone suggested a Murky. I wish. That would be quite amusing. Like Octograb or Genji is pretty legit, actually. It's a very good way to kill him. But it's a Ragnaros. Solid solo lane. SPT and E-Star both running this hero. Very few other people are. But the Ragnaros, super solid on this map. Gets insane value in terms of clearing the Zerg.
Yeah, and even sieging up with your own Zergs can be so strong thanks to the Molten Core having that insane range, that insane burst damage as well, combined with the Sulfurious Smash. So, I like this approach by SPT. They kind of, you know, diversified their damage source a little bit. Sustained by Gul'dan, burst by Ragnaros. Both, however, is magic damage. And Pommy, get off your phone.
Pommy's on his phone waiting for his game. While the girl next to him was drinking a delicious-looking ice, and now I want one.
Once again, shows us how cool it is to have an esports arena in the middle of a mall. So good. Tetra, which draft do you prefer?
I like both. Both have their benefits. I personally prefer RPGs. I think their burst potential is great. They have Genji. Their rotational ability with Genji and Brightwing is insane. But I think SPTs is a little bit easier to execute. It's just wave clear, heal the Gul'dan, let Gul'dan spam abilities. It's very easy to execute, whereas RPGs requires a lot of synergy. So therefore, once again, I still believe the term is Occam's razor. I will be voting for SPT here.
All right, Tetra going for SPT, and so do I. Is SPT going to disappoint us both, or are they going to take home game number 1 against RPG? Stay tuned to find out.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Braxis Holdout. As sporting on the left-hand side, currently our number 1 seed, well technically tied, but they have a game to do. It's SPT, Super Perfect Team, with Zhen Zhao playing the Gul'dan, Melody C on Ufa, Misaka on the Muradin, Wings on Ragnaros, and SW770 on the Uther.
Here we go. On the right-hand side, we have the red team RPG Chicken playing the Malthael, Wang on his Anubrex, on the Brightwing, Infinity on Genji, and Loktar on the Greymane.
Extra healing radius coming in for Brightwing straight away. Cool, I guess. I mean, you want to get that consistent healing in as much as possible.
Yeah.
Seeing a bit of group up in top lane. A 3-2 split. Now, we do know that Gul'dan and Malfurion laid very nicely together because of the increased mana regen that Gul'dan will get thanks to Malfurion.
True. True, definitely. The healing over time is just perfect for him to continually use his life drain. The mana regen, as you said, very, very useful to almost any hero in the game. And the unfurling spray here on the Brightwing is a really, really nice choice on Braxis in particular, because you're going to have a long laning phase here, and the increased range on the healing makes sure that even the furthest away ally gets a little bit of sustain here. In the meantime, we see a gank on Gul'dan, a nice flank from Wang, and Gul'dan falls here as the first blood target. CZH only escaping. Very, very closely here. Holy, RPG turning on the heat.
Joining. Anubrak has founded the rotation, so Wang pulling back to his team. Misaka with some aggression, dropping some extra damage. But for now, first blood over to RPG. Very rotation-heavy early game.
Yeah, absolutely, and we see a couple of really interesting level 1 talents to talk about here. We see the Moonbird from Malfurion, the strongest wave clear talent in his arsenal, and if there's any map where you want to have strong wave clear, strong AoE damage, it is definitely going to be here on Braxis. After completion, the bonus damage will also apply to the Zergs, making it a very, very valuable tool. Now also, the Stormbolt coming in, the perfect storm for Muradin. They want to get the mana regen, they want to get as much damage done as possible, so I just love how teams are shifting the talents according to the map. It's just always nice to see.
Completely agree. Very happy to see stuff like that. Melody C could be in danger if he's not careful. Genji dropping the damage. Infinity having a good time on this hero. He's been able to drop some crazy harassment so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Melody C, that is a player to look out for. Melody C, in my personal humble opinion, the strongest player mechanically in the league on the assassin role. So definitely make sure to watch him a little bit more closely. His Genji is second to none. I mean, Ragnaros is not as flashy as a Genji can be, but it requires perfect aim and good timing too.
So what do you feel about Melody C on the Uther?
Like on the Uther, excuse me. Oh, yes, I was totally my bad.
You were talking about, yeah,
I was talking about Wings.
As an Uther, that's still cool. I'm interested to see how he will play. Timing. Indeed, it's still very timing-based, very CC-based. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for Holy Shock and just try and burn people down with it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool. In fact, it also shows how flexible Melody C is. Like, not is he strong mechanically, he's also strong in terms of, you know, swapping rules when needed. Like, we saw him with the Tassadar in the past, now we see him on the Uther. So, really, really cool to see how flexible Chinese players can be.
Indeed, really cool to see indeed. Brightwing holding her level 4 for the moment. Now, what could she be considering between the Manic Pixie, the unstable polymorph? Fair enough.
Maybe the Peekaboo, but the unstable anomaly is usually what we see the most here in China. Luful also goes for this talent quite extensively. It's just a nice little source of additional AoE damage. that oftentimes a lot of enemy players don't really consider, right? So Gul'dan once again the focus target. Beautiful CC chain, and RPG is on point with those lockdowns.
Yes, they are, and this is why I said I really like their comp. Very powerful in terms of burst potential. SPT's comp, though, is just a little bit better potentially in terms of using the objective, and like I said earlier, easier to use. It may take a little bit to get going, but in theory, SPT should be pretty safe moving into the mid-game as long as they don't get too far behind up to it.
And C is going to look at that game, they're going to watch it, and they're going to be like, whoa, keep it up, RPG, because if you can take points off SPT, that might be really, really good for us next week. So, let's see if RPG can keep up the momentum, or if they're going to crumble a little bit later. For now, Sa is caught and falls, but good sacrifice for the greater good.
Zerg wave. Brightwing can teleport back in 10 seconds. This is not the worst death in the world. It was just a delay as the Zergs push into the top lane. Melody C dropping some damage. We're seeing Ragnaros using his trait very quickly, using it as siege damage to clear out the camp. Not going to use it to tank the Zerg if they were to break through the front gate, because one, that means that you're committing to losing the front gate, and two, that just means that your Ragnaros is actually going to get killed off quicker, so you're not going to protect the fortress large.
Yeah, well said. Even now, he's kind of caught out of position. The Genji and the Malthael immediately trying to punish him, but the healing is strong from the healing fountain and Uther, of course, as well. The Zergs are still there, but most of them have been wiped already. They get another kill against Gul'dan. That's the third death in only 5 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, Gul'dan is having a rough game, and this is very much due to just the insane ganks from Wang. We were doubting Zanubrak yesterday, but today he is proving us all wrong and making up for it by crushing through this Gul'dan on a repeated basis. As the Guardians get a little bit of poke damage, but they're not in range of the fort. They're just being held at this location, so therefore the fort will survive and the Guardians will get killed off.
Okay, Wang going in. Not hitting anyone here. Murden is definitely not the target they want to go for. In the meantime, Melody C just continues to shock his foes with holy might, but it's actually a common thing, like against Genjis or many melee assassins in general, we see a lot more Q builds coming on from those Uthas in China.
I think the idea is just poke him down and keep him low. Just keep him as low as possible on a consistent basis might be the idea here, just by poking him down.
Exactly. So in the meantime, we see nothing out of the ordinary here for Greymane. Standard poke build. It nets you the most AoE damage, especially against Zergs. That can be really important. Now, what I love seeing here is the touch of death for Malfurion. The anti-healing by 50% for a couple of seconds upon activation. Combine that with Tormented Souls. And Uther plus Malfurion are going to struggle a lot. That also counts for self-healing, by the way. So Murden later on with a healing static, or the Ragnaros with a Q self-heal, they're going to suffer a lot from this talent.
Oh yes, very much.
And Gul'dan too. Holy cow!
Very careful. Yeah, everyone is going to really struggle here as Xian Zhao trying to get some good poke damage onto this camp. Very annoying camp, the Goliaths and Raven. Not a huge amount of damage, but immense tankiness, and that Raven, of course, gives the detection, which is always nice.
Oh!
And now get 1v1. Wings picking up a kill against Malthael.
That feels good, man. When you get a one-on-one kill against a basically favored opponent, which I would consider Malthael is in the lineup against Ragnaros. So I think Malthael got a little bit too greedy, maybe, but it was a very close battle, anyways. Like Ragnaros was really, really low. So him being forced to teleport back in order to heal is almost as bad as dying, right? Because he also missed a couple of little bit of XP. So almost an even trade.
Indeed.
Wang is getting ready,
and zap. Just poking down Infinity over and over again. Wings speed boosting out of the way. Chicken going in, getting some damage, but can't chase enough. And Wang already using his burrow. That chase was already ending. As RPG moving back in to try and take control of this top beacon. As currently Zerg ticking up for SPT, but top beacon going back in control of RPG.
And heroic abilities available for both sides. We see the Emerald Wind once again for Brightwing, seems to be the go-to these days. And we see the Tormented Souls, of course, and the Dragon Blade. And no Cocoon Tetcher! Wang, he goes for the Locust! Woo!
Nice to see. He gets a very melee-heavy comp. Goes in. Where are the Locusts? There they are. So stayed huge here. The huge hammer though onto Sar as he retreats out. Divine Storm does not land. Sar survives. No, the Holy Light able to take him down with the Holy Shock.
Oh
as
boy,
they
the
move
Genji
forward,
show has
looking
commenced.
for Wings, the root on Genji dropping the damage. Wings goes down. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of RPG. Very nearly more with that cursed bullet.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the damage coming in from the Locust and the just sheer havoc it created was beautiful to watch. And I have to agree, Tetra, when there are so many melee heroes in the enemy team, you're gonna get guaranteed value from all those little Locusts zapping on them, and also combine that with the AoE damage from the Tormented Souls, the healing reduction. I really like the synergy here, and you can really see that they were thinking a lot about this and how they want to execute it. Genji, though, Infinity getting... like, slicing in and out, getting kills left and right, resetting was just so good. Everything went in favor for RPG here.
Yeah, except for Brightwing dying, which was very clutch in the end. We saw the ticking poison damage from the corruption was still on Brightwing, but she was fine. And then Uther with one final zap with the Holy Shock, guaranteeing the kill thanks to that poison damage. Beautiful move.
Uther becomes the new player killer #1. Confirmed here.
No, that's
HGC
still
China.
Lucio. Right wing. Down. Emerald Wind gets bonus healing for a couple seconds. Is it going to be enough? And speeds out. Nope, the corruption is still enough to get the kill. Horrify on Greymane. Goodbye. 3 heroics used for 1 hero. But oh my god. Get wrecked, son.
I can't believe Greymane actually fell for that. I mean, it was a Muradin. You never want to focus down a Muradin, especially when there's supports nearby as well. The Fear is available. The Sulfur is smashed. Greymane just got dunked for his sins.
Yeah, he got completely wrecked. Now Chicken going down, and that's 3 heroes dead on the side of RPG. They do get the fort, but they lose their bot fort as well. And they're starting to look a little shaky here, but can they continue to hold? Sar just clearing out the minions for the moment, keeping his team up in terms of XP.
Yeah, and of course the panic ulti here by Malthael was not really helping RPG either, because they're now going to have to wait 70 seconds until the Tormented Souls is ready again. And I'm pretty sure that the beacons are going to be activated before that, or just at the nick of time here, so they're going to have to wait a long period of time for now. Healing static available for Muradin, the Hellstone for Gul'dan. There's going to be so much self-healing available now as well. RPG, they're kind of struggling right now.
They are. They need to refocus, regroup, and stop losing people unnecessarily. We've got Ice Block for Brightwing. That will help us sustain through this. They're on the same level with the same talents. They have the same number of structures up. Everything is fine. RPG just need to realize this and just refocus themselves.
Exactly. They don't want to overcommit. They don't want to rush themselves into any reckless maneuvers anymore. Genji, by the way, going for the Shin Gun now. More single target DPS if all 3 Shuriken connect. And that can, of course, also be applied to structures, bosses, even the Ragnaros and the Molten Core. I think that's going to give him great value.
So, well, he's going to be able to drop a lot of damage output as long as it works. Poke demounting Chicken there with the zap. As we do see Melody C just clearing out the minions for the moment. In comes Wag, looking for Muradin, but it's Muradin. You can see they're not overly committing to this. They're just using both the stuns, which come off a relatively short cooldown. That's fine for Wang to do, and it drives Muradin back and gives them positioning on the shrine, and that's what they wanted here as they rotate as quick as possible. They find ZZH, they stun him, but Infinity having to go the long way round. Horrify is used, Sar coming in as well as they find Jin Zhao instead, but no, the Twilight Dream drops a Furious Smash, takes out Brightwing. Infinity in full retreat, Dragon Blading away to get out of danger there, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 as Melody C is found out of position.
Yeah, Melody C got caught here. I think he was on the rotation to help, but Chicken now, he needs to run, stay mounted. No, he gets stunned, and I think that is going to be his downfall. Once again,
delay, Juke,
Juke,
delay, heal, more healing. There we go, it's down by the Meteor. And we do see SPT taking control of the top beacon, but Sneaky and Uberak is taking control of the bot one.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. They need to play a little bit of cat and mouse here with SPT. They definitely need to buy as much time as they can. Going in for the Gul'dan, missing the Impale though, that is huge. Otherwise, I think the Curse Bullet Greymane engage could have been enough to blow him out of his socks, but as it is, not for now. But they're buying good time.
Yeah, for Genji, taking a little bit of damage, but poking down. Constant Shuriken harass. Eats a hammer to the face, but in comes Wang from behind. Nice. Loktar onto Wings. Infinity diving through, and they are picking up that top beacon. We see Gul'dan immediately rotating down to try and prevent that Zerg tick up. They're almost even, these teams right now.
Exactly. They basically catch one another all the time. Beautiful engage over the wall here by Wang, but there's not enough follow-up, which is why he didn't really fully commit to it. Beautiful lockdown now on him. The hunter becomes the hunted, and RPG lost their main tank. Tetra, what is going on? Left and right team kills happening.
Divine Storm onto the Genji there, locking him down. That's why Uther's so good against Genji. Chicken dropping down as well. It's a 4 versus 2. Down goes Malthael. Locktar, the only surviving member except for Brightwing, who wasn't even close to being near the fight. And we do see sneaky SPT able to take a fight, and RPG attempt to sneak back this objective. They find Melody C, begin poking him down. It's both the supports here. The rest of the team's not too far away, though. They're still getting points here. They're still ticking up.
It's crazy.
Oh my god,
oh, no.
Stuns drop, turn it onto Melody C. Emerald win to disengage. It's
they're holding this point.
To heal up. They need to run away like now, because here's everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, Muradin. So heavy impact from Muradin gets the kill.
Beautiful. That's exactly why Heavy Impact is such a wonderful talent. It basically sets your target still for a couple of milliseconds, enough time for good Muradin players to land the stun from the Stormbolt immediately. Brightwing had no chance to escape, especially without Blink Heal. There was nothing she could have done. Whoop. I think, they wanted to show the stacks for Stormbolt here. 26, Tetcher. 26. That's a lot of additional damage.
Indeed it is. Very nice to see. So now, RPG moving in with all 4 of their alive members. Zerg does go over to SPT. They weren't able to take back control of this beacon. They're a bit too far forward, but they do pull back. Brightwing will now be able to TP in. This is in the lane that they don't have a fort in, though, so they do have to defend this to protect their keep.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, SPT is in full momentum here. They're pushing with the Zerg wave. Can they get more done? Keep in mind, the Molten Core can be used on the fort here, which has already been destroyed. Ragnar's currently in the top lane, though, defending their own base. Not sure if that was really needed. They could have utilized a 5-man push with 16 and the Molten Core, and I think the keep would have survived most likely anyway. But let's see what they're going to be able to get. Wang preparing for the flank.
He's thinking about it. They're moving quite far back. Not everyone's in position here. They're looking for Zhen Zhao. They land the Impale, dropping the damage. The Beetles are active. That Locust Swarm dropping a little bit of extra damage. In comes the Dragon Blade. Horrify immediately is dropped here. Not getting the value here, though, as Genji into the backline. And we will see 2 kills already. Can they get a third as they chase down onto Misaka?
Misaka, though, is a tanky dwarf. He also got aid from Uther in his spirit form. Additional healing unlocked here. Malfurion also nearby to keep him in check. I think they could have maybe turned their attention on the Malfurion in general. Wings taking so much damage just from one Genji Swift Strike combo here, really solidly done, and they go for the boss. This is what we talked about earlier. If you have the advantage, if you kill 2 enemy team members and Genji is still alive, you go for the boss. Perfect defense at level 7 gives cooldown reduction. That is going to be 100% a boss in favor of RPG.
Yeah, they pick that up. They take a lot of damage from it, but they do pick it up. They have time to be back even if they want to. Now that boss is going to be pushing in the bot lane, and that's good. There was no way they were going to get a keep if it went top lane. That wasn't going to happen, even with the amount of damage the Zerg did. There was too much defense. Rag has Molten Core, wasn't going to happen. If it pushes bot lane, it can grab a fort, and that's going to give them XP they need towards level 20, which is where they're going to hit their next power spike.
Exactly, and now the combined efforts. No, it looks like SPT is fine defending this because RPG did not really commit to this too much. I'm not even sure if the boss is going to get the fort. It's not the strongest when it comes to sieging.
It won't, but it will get some damage, and it's a start, so they can work on that later and get that little bank of XP when they need it. Now, though, they're going to look for a kill. Genji bait, get stunned, find Misaka, he dwarf tosses out, though.
Yeah, it is really important when you play Muradin in those games against Curse Bullet that you do not pop your avatar too quickly, because while in avatar you're going to take even more damage from the Curse Bullet. So oftentimes you can see like a stalemate between Greymane and Muradin waiting for each other to lose their calm first, right?
Yeah, it's cool to see. I like when we see that.
Wang going in.
Oh, the dwarf toss is missed thanks to Wang burrowing, but Wang is out of position. Getting focused out. All the CC dodges the Sulfura Smash though, trying to juke his way out of there as the Tormented Souls is buying him time. They turn it onto Mount EC. They find Misaka, and beautiful fight by RPG. Everything going right. Genji into the backline. He is taking a couple of tower hits, but he's still alive as they shred through. Find a ZZH. He won't drop actually by the looks of it.
Unless Genji has another Swift Strike. Oh, he got him. There we go.
and even jumping away from the corruption to not get hit by that. Beautifully done. Keep is under siege. They got that fort. They are moving their way towards that level 20, and they're grabbing both beacons.
Now, I do want to highlight Infinity's Genji play here as well. The reaction time in which he actually used this mount to mount up, only to get the gap closer from his level 1 talent, was amazing. Without it, I don't think he would have been in range to actually drop the Malfurion and, of course, the Murden earlier. So that was really, really well executed. Of course, Genji, we know, after seeing RPG just dominating here, why he's considered one of the top-tier heroes, if not the top-tier hero in the game right now. He brings so much to the table. Devastating AoE damage, insane mobility, and of course, relentless poke damage. So, can RPG now use this 100% Zerg wave? Top lane getting pushed, bottom lane getting sieged. They're playing this perfectly.
Let's find out indeed what can they do as we see RPG pushing in, starting the siege before the Zerg wave arrives. And they're putting on the pressure. Rag popping the multi-core so we can siege down the Zerg and try to zone out the members of RPG. Top keep has been mostly cleared, but there's still a little bit of camp there. But Gul'dan needs to be down here to defend as Wang goes deep into the backline, trying to look for an opportunity to try and isolate someone. Finds Malfurion and Gul'dan there, but gets horrified. He's a little bit on his own here. He's trying to escape.
Oh, he makes it!
Shield. He gets hit by a tower. He shields himself and survives as Genji jumps into the backline. Furious smash into Brightwing, drops the Divine Shield and the Emerald Win, but is it enough?
They're on the core!
As RPG is doing it. The core's going down to Zerg.
They got it!
Zerg drops it, and RPG take game number 1.
RPG redeeming themselves after losing to Wukong Gaming yesterday. They take down the #1 seed SPT, and they cannot be happy. Not only do they lose precious points, they're also at the brink of not keeping that level 1 or that top 1 seed. Sorry. What a game!
What a game indeed. Brightwing 1 and 7 for SAR. Well done. They redeemed themselves after that loss versus Wukong. SAR is like, yeah, I can play Brightwing, by the way, guys. That's a thing I can do. And they let through Genji.
Tetra, what?
That is a big deal in that game. It was getting so much value. Wow. Well played by RPG, taking game number 1. If they could take another, then that means that CE and SPT will go into the last week on identical points. Yes. Oh my god, so much pressure is on this last game now for SPT. They need this point to guarantee themselves at least a buffer, so that even if they won one, they have a better shot. They will come out ahead.
Tetra, let's do a little bit of analysis here, like top tier, top notch analysis. RPG lost to Wukong Gaming yesterday. SPT just lost to RPG. Is Wukong the real #1 in China?
Wukong, #1 team in China. That's I guess, if we're going by that ordering of you beat them, so therefore you are better than everyone they beat. Yeah, I guess Wukong Gaming are the best team in China.
Okay. No, but jokes aside, I think RPG played that one really, really well. You have to question the draft, though, don't you? On the side of SPT.
Yes, I do. It was a very nice draft in terms of clearing, and they did a lovely support choke